hopefully pick up the remnants of whatever happened at Caddy Corner. But now we're just thrown over to Authority. We'll be at Letwick, where in match number 1, he was able to steal away that mythic glider grapple gun and just kind of rotate out. But now, match number 2, you can see Hardfind over on the side, and Hardfind looking to set up a trap and a bait. And we've seen this before a number of times, particularly around that vault area, where there are some areas you can't build. Players look to have just an immediate drop, but Letwick is set up really well in terms of his close quarters combat. Just having that epic SMG as well as the tactical shotgun and a legendary pistol means he has 3 really high rate of fire weapons that give him plenty of abilities to just spam and pressure Hardfind, who's gonna be looking for an ambush here in a second. But right now, both players just farming up.
And it seems like they're respecting each other's areas of this Authority. They kind of know, hey, he's going to be over here. I can tell by how he's looted. I know Letwick's going to be in this side because I know how he looted from Hardfind's perspective. But what's concerning about this is the players that are around. Carrot is there as well. You got 2 other players on the side. But Letwick is playing this very well. He's hitting some things, and then he's standing still. Because that's how the henchmen act. They walk around. Sometimes they'll hit stuff that's in their way, and then they'll stand still as you see one moving there. On the other side, we've got Wolfies, who's in a fight against some Marauders. Hopefully he's able to get out of those. The Marauders are very, very potent. They shoot you, they throw things at you, and they just will try to eliminate you at all costs. And they've got very, very good aim, especially with that hunting rifle there in the inventory of the Deadeye Marauder. Wolfies is pretty low, but he's got Ardent pretty low as well, 150 HP. Now the Marauders are coming in here. The third party this fight. Sometimes the third party does not always have to be an actual player. It can be the AI. This is really good for Wolfies. He's allowing the Marauders to go after this player and go after him for him and get the initial damage. But if he goes in, he's got to be careful. He can't look to go in right away with all these Marauders around. If he doesn't do any damage to him, they're going to be very, very, very hard to build through and walk through. As you see, the builds are going to get broken. This is bad for Wolfies. He needs to get rid of the Marauders. His shots are coming in, down to 11 HP. He's only got 2 builds remaining.
Wolf Dog is about to die, I think.
Got a player right there in front of him. Sniper shot going to come out, and it does. But he goes down to a Marauder.
But he dies to a Marauder.
Vato getting picked off there, but the Marauders catching Wolfies out. No builds, no natural cover nearby.
GG, boys.
Soaking most of the aggression. Him opting to go down.
Right, he was
clean up
spectating
all
now.
of that. So good heads-up plays by Wolfies to pick up the snipe, but the Marauders ultimately enacting their revenge there. And it can be so difficult when you get caught out by them, particularly in the open. The builds that will target those and will try and take them out. You're definitely able to kind of ditch them and get rid of aggro when you're around some of the more natural
I know
cover
Benji
on the map,
Fish
those
is in
houses,
this.
the bridges and the stuff that are nearby, but Vato not going to be happy about that. Was trying to get a little bit of a third-party tag there.
I saw them
Wolfie's
earlier.
punishing him right before he goes down. He says, hey, if I'm going down, you're coming down with me. And will also deny a key elimination point that could have gone over to Ardent. So ultimately, he's going to be upset his game is over, but at least he was able to pick up a little bit. Is now back on board here with Flois. And as we can see, he's used to fast starts, placing first with 5 Elans in game 1 of Heat as well. So let's see if he can turn this confidence into something more, as he is over on the northeast side of the zone with plenty of players around him. However, he has priority on the rotation, but not a ton of materials to really do it. You don't want to be forced to
where you
burn
at, boy?
those metal and the brick here. We refer to those as the hard
Oh my
materials,
god, guys,
because
look.
once they get built up, they
That
provide
looks
that
sick.
much more defense for you. However, just they're so much harder to get naturally as you move through the map that Flo is finding Cammy there, and you can see immediately he's going to head over there because he's like, hey, I need those mats. I need those refreshers. When we talk about refresher in the term, this is it, because that's going to be refreshing for him.
What a shot and a heads-up play by Flois. He desperately needed that, as well as his ammo was pretty low, too. Only 74 AR. That's not enough going into an in-game competitive Fortnite game. You definitely want to have a little bit more like Noah Riley here. Again, takes off Mr. Savage and now has the loot to show for it. They got
somebody say Mr.
Savage. He's got this player down, though, with those tags. But the big shield going to be popped there. Now Noah has to be careful. He wants to go aggressive. His instinct is to push in with that crash pad and get the aggressive play.
Mr. Savage
that
is
player
a
back
dope.
up to full HP. He's got to be careful. Shots go through the edit. Not going to connect on the shots there. Noah over the top. Shots come through. A 71 tag there for 71. Noah. And now he's going in. Crash pad in. It doesn't matter, though. The crash pad is actually going to send him away. He's got to keep the pressure up to keep this player from popping any shields. And he's got the player Back and forth, up and down. He's got the crash pad. He's going in. Shots are going to come through. The player
Guys, I know
over the top
it's
of his
not
head.
me playing,
Another
but
good
I
tag there.
thought it
Noah's not
would
able
be
to
a
find
good
him. Noah's
stream,
not
I
able to
don't know,
finish him off. This
about
player continuously layer changing,
what's it,
going up and
filming
down in
at
between the
FNCS.
builds. And Hydro was just trying to run for their
Just
life.
in case some of you guys aren't
Hydro trying to
able
put as
to watch
much
it.
distance as possible, and unfortunately going to go down there. Good job for Noah Riley on the chase. We talk about how
The
important
person
it
in
is
the
to
stream, can you
resolve
please say hi
fights,
so I can know who you
particularly
are?
because you don't want that
If you
opponent
can't, no
burning
worries.
those resources, because when you do take them down, they'll drop them there, and you want to get as much as possible. You can see Noah picking up all of the minis there. He's back up to 6.
I'll
Good
just
job,
check.
still has 4 crash pads. And one thing you'll note in particular when you're looking at these mid-game fights and what you should be keeping an eye on.
Washed
Anytime a player
orange.
has crash pads, that will enable them to push into boxes. You've seen it in 2 different ways, both from the top down, where they throw it against one of those cones because it lets them fall in, and then a perfect example. Thank you, Ross.
He's about to
for
die.
Showing it right
No,
there,
he ain't.
winning
Oh
the fight
my
against
God.
Hardfind very closely with 6 HP. That's the horizontal crash pad where you line yourself up on the corner of the walls, you throw it against that
How do I
corner,
get
and
up
it'll
there?
end up landing right behind you, and it pushes you forward into the box, but it won't affect the other player. So it allows you to line up your shot ahead of time, and most times it'll also put you behind them, so they're not able to play defensively. As Orange trying to play defensively here, but Bafo just comes in and says, hey, you didn't have enough time to reset and get your shields up. I will take all that loot. Thank you very much.
And that's the dangers of taking a mid-game fight, is that if you take any damage, you're going to get
Did
third
he just
party.
lag out?
Players are going to recognize
Wait,
that
what
shield
skin
cracks
is
out,
that?
and they're going to move in.
Oh,
On the other hand, look
the
at
item
Letwick.
shot.
He took that fight, got out, and now is on the move. But Carrot is setting up an ambush, and the shots coming through. Letwick has been cracked. Look at the box separation that he just did there from Carrot. Get a time. I am trying to pass him, and he's the stair with the top is not his. He does get a nice layer change coming out and above, but he doesn't have enough time to pop the big shield. He's just looking to try to pop another mini, and he does get it off. And now he's looking for a shot. He needs to put the pressure back on to Carrot, because if not, then he's just going to keep running around, and Carrot's finally going to be able to get a shot on him. And Carrot decides, you know what? Not worth my time, not worth my materials, not worth my HP. I'm going to disengage.
I'm 50-50 on that. It felt like if Carrot had kind of kept pressing, he might have been able to pick up Letwick, particularly because, look at Letwick, there are only 20
Where's
total builds
Benji?
coming out, but that also means if you are able to take him down, you're not going to necessarily get that much back. You'd only get the 35 total, and it's really not going to be that beneficial
any good
unless you're able
player
to
that I
rotate
know.
cleanly off of it. Both have the crash pads, but now you can see fight going on here between Diablo and NXS ZAndy. ZAndy on the back foot here, and Diablo trying to push forward somebody we've seen had the capability of playing aggressively. He is above that Storm Surge threshold, so just trying to hunt this player and doing a good job of keeping ZAndy on the back foot. Does get the cone replaced, owns both, edits back under. ZAndy. Diablo just going to reset for a second, make sure he's still back up at near that 100-100 threshold, and then ZAndy going to go down. So good job making sure he
I
picks
love
that one up.
that
ZAndy was
pickaxe.
below that Storm Surge threshold. Diablo will see that coming through. The Storm Surge will take that over. So that's what we talk about right now. You
I
can
have
see
it.
on the right-hand
I bought it
side,
yesterday.
Diablo is currently 130 damage above. ZAndy was below, which means he takes that 25 damage every 10 seconds. And it also signals to Diablo, hey, I can just tag this guy up and then wait, because any damage he
Where'd
does
you get a
to
grappler
that
from?
player, as long as they go down within a minute, he will still get credit for that elimination. He will still get the point, then he can go over and safely pick up that loot.
That is another aspect of competitive Fortnite that everyone has to think about. That Storm Surge, it plays a factor into so many of these players' games. Sometimes they forget about it because they're pumping, they're rolling, they got their mats, they got their ammo, they got their builds, they're in zone. And then they're like, wait, I didn't tag anybody this game. I got to look for a tag. Frenzy Fishy on the other side above, and a good amount above. If you're about 100 to 150 above, you're looking at a good spot. As shots come through, he's going to take advantage and find swaps with one AR shot. That is what you needed. We saw Thomas H. do that in the first game. Just find any sort of elimination that you can, far away or up close. Don't even have to risk yourself getting tagged up for it. Beautiful elimination.
Yeah, but you notice how he's doing that behind a cone and editing a single wall. That's to avoid all of those hunting rifle headshots that we've seen come out time and time again. You don't want to get a game ender looking for some of those tags to make sure you're safe. But that being said, when we talk about tags and going through, that's generally meaning you're looking for long-range shots, not with the intention of actually trying to eliminate the opponent, but just doing some damage so you're not threatened by the Storm Surge, as Flois ends Froggy and puts a prime example of why you need a cone in a window and to limit the number of angles you have, because so many of these top-level players will be carrying those
That guy
weapons,
has got snapped in
particularly
the head.
in EU, that is known for their snipes and hitting their shots. Well done from the game #1 winner, who's continuing to roll with the momentum here. Boxed up next to Arctic, passive over the side, as we're transitioning now into that mid-game kind of territory, as players are starting to get closer and looking for priority in terms of zones #4.
What an elimination. He needed it too. He only had 2 hunting rifle shots. That first shot needed to hit. He didn't really have a chance to follow up if it didn't. Very heads up play by Flois. First place, taking down second place. That's pretty good for your mentality. Even if he goes down here and be like, hey, I took out my competition, so I know I'm pretty secure there. But we're still pretty early on into the game, so he can't really do much with it.
And it's important to note when they stress during the top of show how every single interaction matters. Right there, Flois eliminating his direct competition right now, the player who is closest to him, who's able to pressure up. That means if he's able to build up a lead now, it's going to be that much more substantial, because effectively he's eliminated one of the players who can threaten him the most, as now we're on board here with ADN. We saw him have an amazing run yesterday, pushing in. Right there, you can see the Dorito edit being taken down, and that's such a good push. Fastroki was looking to set up a crash pad there with that edited cone in his box, but ADN dropped in and then occupied the space, stuck to the AR.
Right, guys,
and
I'm
just
gonna get a
used the weapon
grappler.
to close it out. Well done getting a key pick there in a mid-circle.
I can find one.
And he desperately needed his match. We're not looking good. Still are not looking good as well. So he's going to have to find another impact elimination along the way. As we're on board here with Ardent, again, stats are not looking good. Now, there is a player's loot there in front of him that he more likely got the equal from.
One there.
He's not actually prioritizing picking it up right now. It seems like he's just looking to build and then go for the loot. Mr. X is nearby, and he's nearby as well. Hardest in an awkward spot. We've got Scram in this game here as well. Handy, passive, slick. A lot of players still alive. 61. We talk about Storm Surge. This is a threshold where it's 50. 11 players.
I'm gonna go get a quad crusher. Jet. Here the grappler. Oh. What about the jetpack? Oh, where's the quad crusher? There's a great grappler. What? Or was that just me?
Mr. X will all be over there, staring to half in, half out with Ardent. They all have priority on everyone else who's rotating into the zone. They're going to be fighting among themselves to make sure they're safe and not going to get ambushed, and then swap over to what Tayson's doing now, looking to catch the players, burning their rotation, burning launch pads and crash pads, trying
Here
to
we
get
go.
into this zone.
Oh, him.
And this is very lucky for Tayson because, again,
Woo.
express the amount of builds in the inventory. He only had 54. That is not where you want to be for this endgame. So he has to find an elimination to get to these moving zones effectively. He does have the 6 crash pads, but when you start to use those crash pads, you start wasting those builds as you box up, and he needs to find somebody. As shots come through, he's not going to be able to beam people out of the air just yet. As we do see Nebby unfortunately falling, but he did get that top 50.
Guys,
place
look
in
at
threshold.
T-pose.
This is what a lot of people are playing that consistency. Hey, at least I went down in
Look
front
at
of that.
Sam.
Tayson, however, is looking to get aggressive, and I believe that's on. I think this is Benji. I'm 97% sure Benji is right nearby. If Benji makes the wrong
Benji?
hit, he goes into a box that's not his. Tayson is going to go
Somebody
aggressive.
say
And they show it's gonna be popped, and it's
Benji.
going to come through. No crash pad in. Shots coming through. And Benji's going to go down. Tayson going to take
No,
him down.
Benji died.
You called it. He
You
was looking
little
for it, waiting for
piece of.
Benji. He heard him trying to set up and get some space, knew he was pressured around the side. The horizontal crash pad entrance puts him behind
No
Benji,
one kills
cleans
my
it up
Benji,
with the
boy.
tactical shotgun, and well done. And Hen, the third place player on the leaderboard before the last game, going on the high ground right now, has priority position with Enos and Mongo
Trick
just below him. Also
shot.
Floki on the same ground, but we're going to hop on over to the Become Legends player. He's been playing so well recently, cleaning up the Cash Cup on his birthday. Had a phenomenal performance yesterday to also guarantee him spot here, and he has priority on this next zone. What that means is he's the closest to where the safe zone has to go past. So as it funnels and everyone else rotates, they have to go past Hen. You do not get to pass Hen, and you notice he's built so much space around him,
I'm gonna
so
get
he can't be shot
another
at in
grappler.
return. All of these shots are completely safe, so anything he's able to convert on will turn into points for him here, as another placement point does take over. Now he's not shooting through that wall. That is just one of the graphical issues with the replay. He's picking up tags, but now you can see setting up a crash pad, going to use it to go on the rotation late. He picked up a key elimination on the Wiset there. We have
And it's such a key elimination because he gets dual glider gun, and now he's got free rotation everywhere. He could win this game based off that elimination. It was such an impact elimination, but he's being a little bit too greedy on that zone. He's written down himself for a lot of the big names are out of this game, but Hand looking to keep his stream alive. One player landed right on top of him. That was a very, very hesitant elimination onto Pablo, but he's not that healthy. He has those minis in his inventory, about 126 effective HP. He needs to find another one.
He needs to find the outside. He can't be in this cluster. It's really weird to take the grapple gun and then immediately go into the middle because you don't really have the ability to utilize it. And that's what we're looking for, getting towards the outside of the zone so he has more options there. Anas, teammate up on the high ground there, but this is the solo
Look at his
competition. He's
leg.
playing for the same org. You have Gamers Origin, Deceptos there on the middle as we tick over top 25. Another point going through. Anas running through the high ground. Reason still in the match, and you can see Deceptos picks up Ardit there as top 20 ticks over. Another point going through, and right as I say his name, Reason ends up going down. This is looking like a Become Legends top 15 right now, as they have 3 or 4 players still up, but Deceptos trying to find the space, finding a good job tarping his way through and making sure that he
Why'd
owns
you kill
all of the builds
Benji?
on
And
this
why
level
using
as we
Benji's
close in
skin,
on top
like-
15. Bad sniper, missing out on a key placement point, and Deceptos looking to try and find a pick on this Crash Pad player, doing a good job to deny the rotation, finds a tag, but not able to necessarily convert it.
Wave
So many
at
shots, but no elimination coming through.
That
He
booty
has to
talking
find
to
that.
me.
That's
Go,
such
hello.
a key pickup. Inside the top 15 we go. Can he
Oh,
chase down this
clap.
player? And he finally gets it. That snipe.
He better
going
not
down,
be
but
wearing
Hen is still up,
Benji's-
picking up Orion as we get into our top 10.
Deceptos is going to have to make a play.
I
He's
swear
going
to
up a
God,
little bit
if
on
he's
the
is
inside.
he
You
wearing
see it.
Star One?
The old
If
builds
he
are
is,
there
I'm
as well.
killing him. I
Hand is
don't
going
care.
to fall. Slick going to fall in tandem. Top 10 placement
Wait,
points
was
being
that
missed
Star?
out by both of them. That's a huge boost as well.
Because that's
Deceptos
Benji's
able to hold
spinning
on to the player
combo.
on the other side. Shots are coming through. He's getting the tags, and he does. Frenzy Fishy is going to go down. Deceptos needs to get out of
Hold
the
on,
zone.
I
though.
can't
He's sitting
tell.
and
Is
thinking he
it?
doesn't have any floppers. He's looking to get in, and he does.
Oh, get bopped.
Floki going to be the one to take him down, and now 2 eliminations here for Floki. The player right on
That
top of him.
booty
He's got to be
talking to
careful.
me.
Shots go through.
Go,
Back in the
hello.
zone goes Floki. Picking down very, very low.
Hit it,
Now
Floki.
inside the zone,
It's
he's
on,
good to
bang,
go,
bang,
but
bang,
this is
bang,
looking
bang,
really,
bang,
really
bang,
rough. He
bang,
doesn't have
boop.
floppers. Mr. X is going to go down. Stacy going to be the one to do it. She'll try to be popped there. And look at Anosh just Tyro whopping all the way up top. He's just walking.
Who's
over
gonna
old builds. I don't know how many
win?
builds he's got left, but he may be
Who's
able to
that
win
at
this
the top?
just solely based on the fact that's going
I
over old
grappled on him.
builds.
Ha! What?
And the old builds giving him priority, that moving zone, we talked about it, it just randomly pulls
booty
a distance
talking to
back
me.
away,
Go,
which means you
hello.
can continue your rotation. And on top of having the old builds, his saving grace has the mythic loadout as well. So this is so big for him as we move into the top 5, 4 players left. But Anas has complete control over this lobby. You can see Tayson as well in the middle. Scramguard and Snazy are going to round out your top 4. Who will finish it off? Will Anas continue the run of the caddy corner loot, proving it out, or can somebody from the low ground shut him down as Tayson picks up Scramguard? So each elimination, each placement here, an additional point as Tayson ends Snazy right there. But the Shockwave Launcher comes out right away and knocks him over the zone. And Anas does get tagged, but he's able to pop
Oh,
the
he
flop
won.
in the zone and then gets the follow-up
Anas
tag with
won.
6 HP to spare. Become Legends Anas from the high ground. 4 eliminations in the Victory Royale, taking game number 2.
The flop was what he needed to pop, and he did do just that. The victory royale gonna be nice. I think may be able to move into first place after that game just on the number of points and the eliminations, but we're definitely going to need the analysts to break that one down, so we're going to send it right over to them here in a moment.
Thank you guys so much. Great cast here in game number 2 of
Who's
Europe.
that?
Anas finding the victory royale.
Who's that fat boy?
Mad props to him. Now here's the thing though. Tayson, another big name we're used to seeing. We keep talking about the quality of players. This is someone who is coming in strong. Ends that game in 5 eliminations. Had he picked up that BR, that 4-point swing would have actually moved him higher up the leaderboard. And we'll see that as we take a look at the standings. And
No
look
one
at who
else.
is currently holding down that number 1 spot.
Usually who ends up winning the game is always at first. That is the same
Right,
story
let's
here
see.
right now.
Anas,
BL
bang,
Anas
bang.
all the way up top. Victory Royale,
Aw.
7 elims, 28
Benji,
points.
come on, boy.
But what happened that game was a bunch of eliminations from top players, changing the standings from 2nd all the way to 10th.
Come on, look at
And
oh
there's
boy.
BL in second there. Somebody definitely to keep an eye on because he placed 4th in the first game. Not necessarily the biggest boost in points this game. Other names too, Deciptos, who's the king of placing 5th place. The French legend who came out there in the Invitational starting to rise up. But then Tayson, Zeke,
That
you
booty
mentioned it,
talking
getting
to
that
me.
2nd place
Go,
will boost him way
hello.
up, but he could have done more. Reason still stays around the 9th place mark, but still improves at least.
Is that a fishy boy, what I see?
And there, we move on over Letwick, Scramguard, Bad Sniper,
Dada,
Killjoy,
Fishy
Mongrel,
boy.
Parrot. I mean, look at all these names. Thomas HD,
Face
Loki, Frenzy Fishy.
Mongrel's in
There's
this.
so
Frenzy
much
Fishy.
heat coming off of the grand finals.
He copied Benji
Every
Fishy's
single
name.
person could walk away the victor, and especially when we're this tight, and we still have 4 games left to go, boys. Anything could still happen. There's all these guys at the top making these power moves right now.
You're saying look at the
Where's
names. I'm
Benji,
looking
boy?
At the points too. You're mentioning that it's tight. It's like a 2-point
Is he-
difference between
Alright,
everyone.
Benji's
They are neck and
24th.
neck. Become Legend Slicks is here too. Twains are deets. Like all these guys are playing so well, but they're playing well while others are too, and no one can really break away. Benji, who we're used to seeing in the top 10, at 24th, and from what I'm seeing, he's having good games still. It's not enough though for that number 1 spot.
It's kind of another kind of slow start for Benji, which I think some people are maybe starting to get a little used to. He always rises at the top, but that might be a sign that it's back to, you know, the old Benji of Grand Finals, the one who does get good performances and is in the top 10, top 15, very solid out of 100 players, but not quite that win that he's looking for.
Together, guys, we got to talk about it. More of these powerful plays coming out of these impact players, making what they need to happen, really manifesting this win right here, right now.
Yeah, Grand Finals is all about power, and it comes in many different forms. We're starting off with how power struggles on early games off spawn fights, and Noah Riley, Mr. Savage, they had a big battle
Benji!
down. Noah showed that he was more powerful.
What?
And it's all because Benji
How did he hit
scares Noah into going somewhere else, but into somebody who might end up struggling because of it. Benji, though, saw a sign of weakness, and because of that, he will pounce, try to grab more space. Kiriachi looking in the background, and Benji knows, and he will hunt. This is one of the best
Mr.
players
Savage,
at
that
fighting
this
in
might
the
be
early
like
and mid-game, and
to
Benji
1 or
is
2
not
hour
scared
stream, by the way.
whatsoever.
Yeah, power vacuum basically here over at Slurpy Swamp, and Benji gets in the box with style, breaks through, hits a big shot, and shows his power afterwards as well.
And is that show of power, is that show of confidence something that we're used to seeing out of Benji? I say yes, but it might be overconfidence as he pushes a fight against one of the best players in the world. Now we're switching over to Flois, and for him, it's a shift.
Yeah, for him, he was holding power in game number 1, continues to. Dropping
away,
down
Cat.
Froggy, who was in 2nd place on the leaderboards at the time, but holding power sometimes comes with a cost. He loses it over to Advise, and we see one of our new players who are in that 2nd place slot.
2nd place for Hen after a very good game number 1, and
Oh,
follows
shoot.
it up with a pretty decent game number 2, a 10th place for him, but a couple of elims to boot. And that will put him where
Oh,
he needs to be if he
he
wants
got
to grab
clipped.
that crown at the end of the day, the ultimate
Oh,
sign
he died
of
this
power. He
door.
falls in 11th, but that's at least solid
I
enough.
think
Yeah, and
No.
this is where power starts for a lot of players in this game. It was Anas who ends up winning, who had Caddy Corner and the Mythic Loot as well. The Shockwave launcher hits Shark
This might not
Shotgun too,
actually
and
be
he
a
just
2-hour
made power
winner stream. It might be like a
become
30-minute
his
one.
tool in this endgame. He became legend incarnate, literally just
My body talking to
personifying
me.
the
Go,
organization he's
hello.
on and using
Woo.
this entire endgame as a playground, bouncing people up, shooting them down afterwards. Look at that two-piece right there. Anas looks so dynamic.
Where'd you
and
get
yes,
them?
You saw Flores with the hunting
Crash
rifle. You saw
pad.
him with the charge shotgun last time.
I'm gonna get
For
some
me,
crash
it was
pads
Anas'
if I
gameplay.
can. They're they're tomorrow's. They're burgers. That's this.
Especially at Caddy Corner, so I feel like, yes, that's my call.
I like it. Quick and concise. With that being said, guys, let's throw it into game number 3 here in EU of the FNCS Grand
Ooh,
Finals.
I got paid.
Casters, we're sending it back your way. Get into the action.
Thank you so much, Zeke Shire.
How
Bella.
they get
Insightful as
paid.
always, and everyone is looking to become a legend. But right now, the Become Legends
booty
players
talking to
occupying
me, girl,
first and
hello.
second. And if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Sundown, joined here by the fantastic, as always, Clay Stelling. This is match number 3, the halfway point of the EU FNCS Solos Grand Final. And if you're watching at Party Royale and you just dropped in, hit one of those telephone booths, the changing stations. Make sure you get your favorite outfit on, then head on over to
Okay.
the main stage, catch the action out. You can see where everyone's dropping right now.
And if you notice, the yacht only has one player on it.
The main stage.
Mine.
Heading over the top. Landing.
Well, fuck. Well, he told me to get in the main stage. Liar. Fly.
Around until he's gonna box up, but the fish is gonna escape.
Guys,
Is the
wanna
deal, looking
see
to crash pad on
something?
in, using the jump there. He's actually not gonna go in. He's gonna take the wall and the cone up top, and that was so smart to outplay Orion.
What's
Advise
this,
there.
boys and girls?
Well done picking up advice there. We talked about
Right.
kind of the different types of crash pads and the variations you're able to use. Him jumping up prevented him from falling in. So then when advice went to exit the situation, got picked up, and now over to Slurpee Swamp.
Fly. That booty talking to me, girl. Hello.
As he's hitting these slurp barrels, so wants to kind of resolve this beforehand. And now, box to box, how do two of the best players in the world close out this box fight? Do they look to take each other on, or are they just kind of trying to disengage the situation? Right now, Benji's saying, "Hey, I need more mats if we're going to go toe to toe."
He disengaged perfectly, got up, and is out. I also want to point out 35 of the current players also competed in the FNCS Invitational Finals. So they've been here before. They've been in this grand finals. They know what to do, especially these two players on the screen right now. Kiriachi is going to take some damage there from Benji, who is keeping that pressure up.
Benji.
Kiriachi actually went up and around the shots going through, exchanging high ground and exchanging shots. Benji takes a nice tag there on the Kiriachi.
I'm a home alone.
Kiriachi still pushing. This is exactly what we expect from him. And Benji baiting him to drop down. Kiriachi was ready. The back and forth going in favor of Benji right now. Kiriachi keeping the pressure up. Benji going to get tagged up a lot.
Benji, I swear to God, if you lose again.
Pickaxe for that code as the edits come through. Benji going through old builds. This is really good, but once you reset
you
that
better
metal,
pop
it's
down,
very, very
shoot.
weak and it's easy to hit. Please put some distance in between him, Kiriachi, and Dual Media Snipe.
I was about to say, Dual Media Snipe, hearing the action going on, wants to take a peek inside, but he very well knows who's there, and I'm not sure you want to jump on into that pond. Don't want to get boxed like a fish between those two. It's more like getting boxed between two sharks. A rock at a hard place. You pick which one and who's who, because Benji, right now, just again, looks like he's done enough to fend off Kiriachi. You say, how long are we going to do this for? How long are we going to burn mats and just sit here and force each other back? Because both of these players are good enough to hold the other off, or at least make them pay for it if you don't get that initial ambush off of the start, which is why you now see Kiriachi kind of backing up a little bit, making sure he gets some mats before heading back in towards Benji again, looking to potentially respark this engagement.
And I'm not surprised from Kiriachi. He is very, very aggressive, but we'll have to see if that turns out in any of their favors as Seventor now being aggressive onto Diablo. Diablo going to get the initial shots there, and now Seventor can disengage if they want to, but on the edge of zone, really hard to disengage. Diablo and Seventor looking to do a little peanut butter edit, look to get that jump shot there. Seventor looking to get any sort of wall take back, and he does, but Diablo ready for it. The shot comes through, the quick reset there, going to get the tag in favor of Seventor, but still not as much HP there as Diablo. His shots are still coming through. He does pop a mini. Continued back and forth over these peanut butter edits. That's that triangle edit that you see as he goes in. He goes aggressive with that crash pad, but Diablo was ready for it. Did you see how many edits he had, how many space he had in between him and Seventor? He was predicting that perfectly, but Seventor's ready for the edit. He's ready for Diablo popping up, and he said, you know what, I'll bait the heal out, but I'm going to get that elimination.
Yeah, and a really good job from Seventor there, baiting Diablo into something that he had owned and then committed him to the fight, caught him with the builds out, and then following up with the tactical shotgun. And it's really fruitful to resolve that fight because there was a player boxed up right on the edge of zone who would have been able to rain shots down. And again, if you are just joining that, there's the format on the right-hand side. You can see first round of placement points coming through, top 75, next one at top 50. Then it's every 10 players to fall until we reach top 25. Then it's every 5 players until you're into the top 3. So definitely want to be making those end games, but also 1 point per each elimination, as Carrot will pick up Phoenix there, will also get a point, and that's his second of the match.
And he may have taken coolest out of his name, but right now he's the coolest of the authority, picking that elimination up. He's been very, very good. He actually, I believe, one of the players that came through the open track of the FNCS Invitationals. That happened a couple months ago, but still maintaining prowess over the authority here. He was here back when it was the agency, so dominant performance from Carrot. He's also got the zone there as well. You see him already building up and refarming. In Misty Meadows, however, Ardent looking to set up an ambush like we've talked about, hiding in this little upgrade room. He can catch anybody waiting to upgrade their loot. He's got a great charge to do it with a legendary at that. And look, somebody is taking the bait. They are coming into the house. The question is, will they open it? He set a trap up perfectly. He set a trap up, but he put a wall, Griff. Put a wall there. The peppers, the shields, everything being popped there. Ardent, though, not going to be able to spring the trap as Griff was ready for it. And Griff
No
turns
way.
the tide.
No way he died.
Sometimes you set the trap in the bait, but turns out you are the bait and you don't reel in what you want. That's what we talked about. He was looking for a slurp fish and instead pulled one of the loot sharks there. Griff turning it around after a rough game number 2, getting eliminated pretty much basically off drop. Ardent trying to spring a little bit of an ambush there, but instead going down. So good job on Griff, who we saw also had a very, very, very impressive run in order to make the qualifier here, but now on board with E11's Tayson, a player who we saw be super successful in the heats yesterday. The problem is he hasn't necessarily really converted it today. We consistently seen him towards the top. He was actually 7th coming in, so not doing too bad today, but probably also a little bit outside in terms of the placement that he would be wanting, averaging a top 27 placement and 5 elims total across the 2 games.
And I think that may be due to the amount of loot that he's getting. He is in Steamy with 2 other players. It's really, really hard to find all that loot. And you see it in his inventory right now. He does have crash pads, but that common AR is not going to net you a lot of elimination. He's going to have to find a way to upgrade that, whether that be through an impact elimination or finding one naturally. As it seems like this is the open side of zone, and that meaning there's not that many people all around him. He's got a little space to work with there. Someone who doesn't have that much space is there's a lot of players nearby. Bad Sniper. He does have 15 points, a decent first couple of games, but not where he wants to be. There is a player nearby. He's got to be careful with the snipe, and if you don't have it, he's going to turn the beams back onto him, but not going to hit it. He's only 22 above Storm Surge, and that is nowhere near safe, as you see it already ticking down to 19.
Yeah, and that Storm Surge threshold on the right side of your screen there. The number for zone number 3 is 70, so currently 17 players have to go down. Bad Sniper will be starting to look for tags here, but also doesn't necessarily want to overbuild himself too much because he doesn't have a ton of materials. He is out in the open, so if he has a lot of players who opt to end up spamming towards him, it can be difficult. And he's not in the safe zone yet, and now only 4 above. You talked about how kind of some tags out, get himself above. We have Ovation and Ovation Arion and Smudge closing in on him, as well as 2 players already in the zone and coming back, and this is going to be key. And he got it! Huge tags and the Elim coming on to Meta Shrimzy. Super unfortunate, using the crash pads desperately trying to get in zone, but even with those tags, only 62 above.
And you can tell he's not happy with it. He's already looking to move into zone and set up for another couple tags because he's going to need it. The 62 above just turned to 60 above, and then it's going to turn to 52 above. And you're going to start trickling down that leaderboard as everybody near you looks to get eliminations. But Bad Sniper maybe looking to set up an ambush here onto Kezix. Will be a snipe nearby Skype there, as well as a sniper shot is going to rain there. Not actually going to connect onto anybody.
I'm going to end this stream because no one's watching it anyways.